We good?
Mm-hmm.
Well, SAFF is a process called surface active foam fractionation, and we developed it back in 2015. We started work developing a technology to remove PFAS compounds from contaminated waters. Most of you will have heard of PFAS unless you've been living in a cave. It's a really ubiquitous, common industrial contaminant that has lots of problems around its persistency and toxicity, and it's a bioaccumulative product that's causing issues with human health. And so we wanted to develop a way to remove that product from the environment, and that's what we've been working on. So SAFF is, I think, a really elegant process that just uses the simple power of rising air bubbles to harvest PFAS. So PFAS have this unique tendency, a lot of them, where the tail of the PFAS compound is attracted to the air-water interface of an air bubble. And of course, as it binds to that interface, it rises to the surface where it just naturally presents it as a foam. That's what PFAS do. And then we've developed some unique ways to harvest that material, and then we concentrate it and concentrate it again. So it's very simple. It doesn't involve any additives or chemicals to the process. It just uses that natural affinity of the PFAS compound to bind to air bubbles. It's a beautiful way to do it, and it works really, really well. So when you're managing PFAS, there's really three discrete stages to it. There's the separation of the PFAS from the water, there's the concentration of the waste that you've separated out, and then there's the destruction of that waste. So SAFF focuses very much on the separation and concentration stages. So we have a primary, secondary and tertiary stage. The primary stage splits the PFAS from the water and turns it into a waste stream, and then the secondary and tertiary stages, they take that waste stream and we apply a slightly different process to harvest the PFAS compounds into a tiny volume. So to give you an example, for every Olympic pool worth of PFAS impacted water that we treat, the tertiary fractionate produced is about a coffee cup worth of contaminated product, and all the rest of the water is PFAS free. So it works really effectively to hyper concentrate the product, and that allows a quite simple destruction process to be applied. Well, the SAFF technology now, over the last 7 or 8 years that we've been working on, it's been deployed to about 50 sites globally. We've done full-scale field trials all over Europe. We've done them in the UK, we've done them in the US, and back home here in Australia. So collectively now we've treated about 500 million litres of PFAS impacted waters, so we're really getting some great experience. I'd say we're the most experienced company in the world in terms of having applied foam fractionation at scale, and that's given us a lot of learnings. So the key benefits of the SAFF system, I mean, the greatest benefit is it uses air bubbles to remove PFAS and then concentrate that PFAS down into really small volumes. So in a nutshell, that is the biggest benefit. There's no chemicals added, there's no amendments. It just uses the power of a rising air bubble, which I think it's a really elegant and sustainable way to manage this really huge global problem. So we're very excited about the sustainability of the process. But I guess in a deeper sense, we've also got a lot of benefits in terms of the power consumption. So it's very low power consumption for the treatment of the volumes of water that need to be dealt with. It doesn't add any consumables, so there's no cost there. It doesn't produce any waste other than a really concentrated PFAS material, so it's unique in that way. And also one of the big benefits is we've invested really heavily in the remote telemetry of the system, and so that means that with very little field operation presence, we're able to keep the system going and running and treating water. It's particularly well suited to complex waters and stands alone in that respect. In landfill leachates and water from wastewater treatment plants, it really is impossible to use absorptive-based techniques to full effect. Whereas the SAFF system, it doesn't matter what the TOC or the pH or the suspended solid count is, it just keeps churning away, removing PFAS from the water, and that is a fantastic asset in those really complex water streams. So how's the SAFF journey been? Well, it's been long
and hard, I'd have to say. We first started looking at foam fractionation, or the PFAS issue, in 2015. We built our first lab capability in 2016. We built our first plant in 2018. We built our first containerized SAFF in 2020. During 2021, we built 4 units. 2022, we built 10 units. 2023, we're going to build about 30 units. So you can sort of see it's a pretty steep old curve. And to get to that, I think, relatively quickly has actually been a real credit to the Epoch team. The benefit, I suppose, of this 8 years is that it's allowed us to be first to market. We've really been able to trial and refine and perfect the art of foam fractionation, which is not as simple as it might seem at first glance. It's actually quite hard. When you're dealing in this parts per trillion realm, you really have to make sure that the system is working impeccably and consistently to remove the problem. So we've had that great luxury, I suppose, of time to be able to work on that. And now here we are, 8 years into the journey. We've got a fully capable remote telemetry capability running 24/7. We've got operations and maintenance staff all over the world to deal with any issues as they arise. We've got logistics partners to help manage the transportation, collection and handling of PFAS impacted wastes. And we've got destruction partners to manage the disposal of the hyper concentrates that we're producing. So we really feel like we've arrived, and we're actually ready now to embark on this huge challenge ahead. There's over 100,000 sites globally at latest kind of estimates that are going to need remediating over the next decade or two. So it's a huge task to just get enough systems produced and have them operating reliably and consistently. But I feel like we're there, and as we're the kind of first to market guys, we have that luxury of reliability that comes with being ready. So we're looking forward to the challenge ahead, but the challenges haven't finished, I'm sure.